Welcome back to the S&T Football Podcast. Today we are talking about the NFL playoffs are kicking off this weekend. We have the wild card round, and in the first round we have a surprise contender. Yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars have returned to the top of the NFL. Can you believe it? Been a few years since we've seen them in this spot. The last time I remember the Jaguars making the playoffs was when they ran into the Chargers and they were down like 24 at halftime. And they were down like 24 nothing at halftime. And then all of a sudden they stormed back in the second half and ended up winning that game. That was a crazy game. Haven't seen them since. So, shout out to Jacksonville, Duval, Liam Cohen, their new head coach, has turned this team around. So they finally got it right. Shout out to them. On the other side, we have the Buffalo Bills. Not a surprise on that side. We're used to seeing Buffalo make it to this spot. The only surprise on their side is that they did not win the AFC East this season. Of course, the Patriots have come back into the fray as well. So the Bills slipped down a little bit. They're the sixth seed this year, but still made the playoffs, so still solid and could still definitely make a deep run here. So this should be a good one. Kicking off in Jacksonville, the 3 versus the 6 seed. Tom, what do you think about this really cool matchup right here, wild card round?
Yeah, it's always fun to see the Jaguars back in the mix. Big fan of their stadium. They got the swimming pool down there, and they're Florida fans, Florida people. So I mean, they love their football, and they'll definitely be showing up. So it's a franchise that they like to show up and have fun whenever they do make it, because not every year that they're there. Especially, they got up to the 3 seed, like you said, their new coach got that program, got that ship turned back in the right direction. Buffalo, only 1.5 point favorites. So basically a pick 'em game, which I would agree with, because Jacksonville's been playing just really solid, sound football so far this year. They're not they don't rely too heavily on one or the other, but Trevor Lawrence is balling right now. I think he had over, I can't remember exactly, but he's had a lot of passing yards, and then he also had over 1,000 rushing yards this season, which, kind of a surprise. But Trevor Lawrence is mobile. We've seen him; he's an athlete, good quarterback, ever since the days at Clemson. So going up against another really good dual threat QB in Josh Allen, so going to be a good quarterback battle. I'm excited to watch it. Gonna be the kickoff game. That game's at noon, so or noon Central Time, I should say. So excited to kick off the NFL playoffs with that one. So yeah, I mean, as far as the predictions go, I think these two teams are very evenly matched. Similar styles, I guess. They really rely on good quarterback play, but they have really good quarterbacks. Solid running backs, not really any big star receivers, but guys that'll get the job done, no doubt. So, really, and then again on defense, I mean, kind of hit or miss with the defenses, usually a miss when it comes down to these defenses. So I think there's going to be some points scored here, which is always exciting for the playoffs, but it is the NFL. So it's professional on professional, good on good, which we love to see that. Yeah, close game. If I had to pick them, I'm gonna go with the Jaguars, but I think I want to see the Jaguars win more, and that's why I'm picking them. Not really based on anything. I think this game's gonna be a toss up either way. So Saison, bring us home. What do you think about these two?
Good stuff from you there, Tom. I really like this matchup as well. This is very interesting, especially just seeing the Jacksonville Jaguars back in this playoff realm. Like you said, the playoffs are better. I think they're more interesting. I would say when we have teams like the Jaguars making the playoffs. It makes things spicy. So I like it. On the other side, we have a usual contender in the Bills. And that keeps the consistency as well. And I think it's going to be a really good matchup. I can't remember if they played during the season. I'm sure they did, but Jacksonville, they've had a very interesting year because they've just been winning games like consistently since the start. They just been winning, 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 winning. Drop one here or there, but they get right back into the winning path, and they've just racked up the wins all season long slowly. And they've still kind of been under the radar, I would say, as well as they've been. I know Jacksonville is not one of the bigger fan bases, either way, but just the fact that they haven't really done it and been in the spotlight. They've kind of done it undercover. You know what I mean? They've kind of done it, with not too much attention on them. And it's very interesting as well because they're doing it with not a lot of weapons in the passing game. Like you said, Trevor Lawrence is having one of his better seasons we've seen from him. And that's a whole nother story because, I was kind of down and out on Trevor Lawrence after last year. I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take for this guy to finally figure it out. And I don't think he's the guy. Well, all of a sudden, it seems this year he finally figured it out. He finally got a decent coach that knows what he's doing, and he's balling out of his mind. Like you said, I think this is probably the best I've seen him play, probably at least since the last time they made the playoffs. But the fact that he's also doing that with not a lot of weapons around him, because as we know, going back to the draft, they drafted Travis Hunter out of Colorado. He was supposed to be the guy, to kind of elevate this offense. He's been out for the season since like I don't know, week 4 or something like that. Like he's been out for a very long time. Like his season's been done. And also their rookie from last year, who was really good, Brian Thomas out of LSU. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not exactly sure. Is he injured or is he just not playing well? But has not been there either. Like we have not heard of this guy. The guy that we're hearing from right now in Jacksonville is Jacoby Myers, who they had to go get from the Raiders like halfway through the season. So as well as much as the Jaguars have been playing well this season, have been elevating their game, they still had to go halfway through the year and go trade for a receiver because they needed receiver help because they were just missing that kind of downfield threat. You know what I mean? Because Travis Hunter's out and Brian Thomas is not playing well or whatever. So uh, it's very interesting how they got to this point because the running game is still very good. Travis Etienne, he's still a really good running back, and then Trevor Lawrence is playing better, and the defense is also pretty decent. But doing it without a lot of guys in the receiver game, that's pretty crazy, and also with a new head coach, and they kind of just put it together this year. So shout out to the Jags. They finally figured it out. Will it be a deep playoff run for them this time? Remains to be seen. I don't know if they're a Super Bowl contender. I think they could definitely get there if they keep playing like they've been playing all season. But it's a team like the Jaguars where you get a little iffy on them when they get to the playoffs because you're like, I don't know if they can really do it when it really counts. You know what I mean? Like you see teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Bills. We know that when they get to this time, they're going to be playing their best football. Are the Jaguars still going to be playing their best football, or did they play their best football in order to get here and now they're running out of gas? I don't know. We'll find out. Of course, they're going up against the Bills, who have been here before. Josh Allen, Josh Allen's had an up and down season, which is not unexpected from him, but just following that MVP campaign that he had last season. It was kind of a down year for him, I would say. He kind of went back to his younger years where he was making a lot of mistakes and turned the ball over and missing passes and things like that in big spots. So the Bills, like I said, they kind of came down a little bit. They didn't win the AFC East. They came up a game or two short, but they still made it. They're still good enough to beat here. The team is still very solid. The run game is still epic. James Cook is cooking. I mean, I don't understand why it was ever a question whether they needed to pay him or not. I mean, without him, Josh Allen can't do what he does as well as he does it. Because if you have to put it all on Josh Allen's shoulders, you're not going to be as successful as you are with James Cook running the ball also. Because when you have to worry about James Cook and Josh Allen, that's when there's problems. That's when defenses can't figure it out. And that's why the Bills have so much success. So I think James Cook is a big part of that. Josh Allen, of course, because just like the Jaguars, the Bills receiving core is not not anything to write home about. I mean, Khalil Shakir, he's pretty good out of the slot. They have a couple good tight ends, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. But other than that, I mean, the receiving core is not great either. So that's kind of a similarity between these two teams. Not much, going on in the receiving realm. Not any big time players there, but they make it work. They make it work, and the defense is playing as solid as they need to. Just to hang in there. So This should be a very interesting matchup. My prediction, the Jaguars are at home. This is a big game for them. They haven't had this in a long time, so they're going to be very motivated down there in Duval. But it's hard to pick against the Bills. Especially because the Bills have been here before. They know what they're doing. They know where they're trying to get to. Every year is Super Bowl or bust for the Bills. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is in Buffalo. They've been here too many times. Nothing else matters other than winning a Super Bowl. So, if they don't do that, it's a losing season. So they're going to be motivated as well. Ah, this is definitely a pick'em one. This is definitely a pick'em game. I'm gonna roll with the Bills because I'm gonna roll with the consistency and the history. I'm gonna roll with the team that I've seen do it before and been here before. And like I said, losing in the wild card round would definitely be a major disappointment for Buffalo. On the other side for Jacksonville, it's kind of just a accomplishment just to get here. You know what I mean? Not saying they're not going to be motivated as well, but this is the accomplishment, just getting to the playoffs for Jacksonville. So I'm gonna roll with the Bills. I think it'll be a really close one. Could be a definitely a field goal type game, a walk off field goal. But give me the Bills. Give me the Bills. Anything else, Tom? Anything else on that?
No, I looked up. Trevor Lawrence had 4,000 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, and 1,000 rushing yards. So, yeah, good season for him.
You should look up what happened to Brian Thomas. What's going on with him? Is he still playing, or is he hurt, or just MIA? What's going on with that?
Let's see. Says he's healthy. He's just not playing well. Oh, wait. Brian Thomas Jr.'s status as of early January 2026 is that he is healthy and playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, having been cleared to return from a recent concussion evaluation during Week 18. So he had a concussion for a couple weeks.
Mm.
So yeah,
Also,
and
he has not played to the same caliber that he had last year. When he had that breakout rookie year. So they must have figured him out.
Yeah, I'm looking up 2025 stats. He's got 48 catches for 700 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, not a great year.
And on and off with the concussion, it looks like. So
yeah, that's tough. I mean, he's probably been
yeah.
reason, just from the great season he had last year. Defenses have probably started to tailor towards him during games. So it's surprising to see that he has not played well with how well Trevor Lawrence has played this year. I mean, Trevor Lawrence literally had 5 touchdowns in one game this season, or 6?
Something. He was balling. I forget who it was, but yeah, they put up like 35 on somebody.
Yeah, like
Trevor Lawrence had them all.
To at the same time for Brian Thomas to only have 2 touchdowns all season, that means that it's not been a great year for him. So,
Yeah.
and then to go along with that, Travis Hunter being hurt for basically the entire season, the fact that the Jacksonville had to go out and go trade for a receiver halfway through the year, even though they were playing pretty well without all the receiver help that they needed. That's shout out to them. I mean, they've kind of put it together this year. They've weathered the storm and able to get to this point. So, should be a good one.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Who did the Jaguars trade for mid-season as a receiver? Jaguars receivers. Was it Jacoby Myers, right? Yeah. So again, like they got kind of just a room full of just like solid receivers, I guess, But yeah, that's all I got unless you got more.
That's all for me.
All right, yeah. Go Jaguars, baby, Duval.